commonly asked question is which physical yoga practice which I can do in home. For them, I prefer Surya Namaskara. The main three reasons why I prefer Surya Namaskara is the first one is it will detoxify the body. Second one is it will energizes and it will activates all the systems of the body. And third one is it will rejuvenates the mind. And these are the main three reasons why I prefer Surya Namaskara. In this video, what I do is first I'll demonstrate Surya Namaskara. Second, I'll just show you the key points which has to be followed while performing Surya Namaskara. And third one is how to synchronize with breath and the movements and asanas of the Surya Namaskara. And first I start the silent demonstration. Here, we'll start with by joining legs and then you should adapt Namaskara Mudra. First is Urdhvasana and then Hastapadasana, Ekapadasana, Dvipada Prasaranasana, Shashankhasana, Sashtanga Pranipatasana, Bhujangasana, Bhudarasana, Shashankhasana, Ekapadasana, Hastapadasana, Urdhvasana, Namaskarasana. This is the silent demonstration of Surya Namaskara. And now I'll tell the key points which has to be followed while performing Surya Namaskara. One is for Urdhvas, first Namaskarasana. Here you should join your legs, you should wrap Namaskara Mudra. Your elbow should be parallel to the floor and your chin should be parallel to the floor. And from here we'll go to Urdhvasana. Here the commonly happening mistake is we'll push the lower back and we'll bend like this. You should avoid this. Instead of this, you push your waist front, you should rise up your sternum and put your head back. This will give us the complete anterior stretch to the body. And from Urdhvasana, the commonly happened mistake is we'll bend the back and we'll bend like this. It should not happen. Here when you do like this, you lose the stretch at your hamstrings and completely in the lower part of the body. So what you should do is, after Urdhvasana, you should push your hip out. By keeping your upper body straight, you should bend forward. When you reach maximum, just drop your hands and bend your head. If you are flexible enough, then you can bend forward and you can place your palms on the floor, and this will be the final posture. After Hastapadasana, you should take your right leg back and then place your right toes on the floor and then knee on the floor. Here the placement of the palms is very much important. Different schools of yoga will practice in different way. Some schools of yoga will preferring keeping your palms and foot in a straight line. The common mistake, common problem what happens is this length will becomes more. When this length will becomes more, you lose the stretch at your right pelvic region. So what you should do is place your palm little bit front, and even what I follow is placing your palm little bit front. So this height will becomes less and you'll get much stretch at the right pelvic girdle. Okay, you should place your palm, you should push your waist down and you should stretch your neck. And once your palms and the toe position is placed, then it's completely fixed. Throughout the practice, your palm placement and toe placement will be the same. You should not disturb the positions of the palms and toes. After this, you should push your waist, stretch your neck, and one more thing, you should not roll your heel inward like this. Okay, keep your heel straight, push your waist down, you should stretch your neck and look forward. From here, you should move to Dvipada Prasaranasana. Just take your left leg back and join it to the right. Okay, and you keep your sternum straight to your palms. It should not be back or it should not be too much front. Okay, your chest should be in between your palms and your abdomen should be parallel to the floor. Main thing will just adjust the hand positions and chest position and will fail to keep the waist. Okay, you should keep your waist in such a way that your abdomen should come parallel to the floor. You should use your abdomen muscles to hold this posture. Okay, don't loosen your low back like this. Okay, your back should be straight, stretch your neck and look forward. From here, next we'll move to Shashankasana. You should place your knees on the floor and try to place your hips on your heels. And here one more mistake will happen. Whenever you are moving from Dvipada to Shashanka, we'll drag the hands back like this. Okay, if you can't place your heel on the hip, if you are not flexible enough, okay, you do like this, but you should not drag your hand back. Okay, your hand position should be the same. From here, you should move to Sashtanga Pranipatasana. Just lift it up, place your knee, chest, chin or forehead on the floor. Okay, here the mistake is what mistake happens is we'll lie on the abdomen and we'll raise the waist up. You should not follow that. From here, use your arm strength, bend, touch your knee, chest, chin or forehead on the floor. From here, you should move to Bhujangasana. You should rise up your chest, expand your chest and put your head back. Here the main things which are to be followed is you should not rise your thighs up. Your thighs should be on the floor. If you can't bend backward, that's well. Just do this much, this is enough. But you should not rise your thighs and you should not do like this. Push your thighs down. You should rise up your chest and you can fold your elbow, but you should expand your chest and then you should not sink your neck in between the shoulders. You should push your shoulders down. You should make your neck free, expand your chest, put your head back. If you are flexible enough, then by maintaining all the key points, you can make your hands straight and bend back. Okay, but you should not rise your thighs. After this, we'll move to Bhudarasana. Here, your first aim is to pressing your heels on the floor. Once you pressed your heel, or else you just practice on pressing your heel on the floor and bend your head. If you are comfortable in pressing your heel on the floor, then you focus on compressing of your upper back and placing top of the head on the floor. Okay, until unless your heel is not pressing to the floor, don't focus on the upper body. And the final posture will be like this, pressing your heels on the floor and placing top of the head on the floor. From here, you should move to Shashankasana, knees on the floor and then hips on your heels. This Shashankasana, what we did before, the same Shashankasana. From here, and whichever leg you took back, the same leg should come front, like this. Push your waist, stretch your neck and look forward. And then Hastapadasana. You see, till coming to this point, your Ekapadasana, your hand position and leg position was the same. Hastapadasana. From here, same thing. Urdhvasana. Follow all the key points of Urdhvasana. Push your waist, rise up your sternum, bend back. And then you should come back to Namaskarasana. Now I'll tell you the breathing pattern, how it should be. What suggestion I give is, first, whenever you're starting the practice, whenever you are in the initial stage, just focus on perfection of the postures. Once you get the perfection of the posture, then you move to the synchronization of the breath and your body movements. Okay, for your knowledge purpose, I'll explain the breathing pattern. First will be Namaskarasana. In Urdhvasana, I should inhale. And here exhalation. And then here inhale. And here what happens is, some schools of yoga, here they'll exhale and then we'll move to the Dvipada by inhaling. In some schools of yoga, from Ekapadasana, when you start inhaling here, you will do Kumbhaka. The same inhalation will continue and we move to Dvipada. In both the way, but in Dvipada will be in inhalation position. Now here you should exhale. Next in Sashtanga, inhale and exhale. Till here should be inhaling, and when you are moving to the Sashtanga, you should exhale. And Bhujangasana, inhalation. And then exhalation, you should press your heels on the floor by exhaling. Shashanka, inhale and exhale. Ekapadasana, inhalation. Hastapadasana, exhale. Urdhvasana, inhale. And Namaskarasana, exhale. Okay, this completes the 12-step Surya Namaskara. And I'll let you know the pace, how it should be practiced. If you do in the slow pace, it's very good for increasing the flexibility. And if you are doing in the medium pace, then it's very good for toning and strengthening the muscles. And if you are doing in the fast pace, it's very good for burning calories, and it's very good for losing the weight. And hope you got the Surya Namaskara. If you get any doubts, you can drop the comments in the comment box. Thank you.